Hey guys, Lytane here, and it's about time I talked about spoilers for Steins Gate. So that means if you have not played it and don't want to know what happens, then click away, go to another world line. But if you want a more general review, then you can click the card in the top corner. Alright, it's spoiler time! Let me start by telling you a little story. I first started playing visual novel games when they came out on the DS. They included Professor Layton, a few Ace Attorney games, and 999. Then, for about 10 years, I never played another one until I saw a game called Zero Time Dilemma. I learned that it was a sequel to 999 and that another sequel called Virtue's Last Reward came before it, so I bought the Nonary game collection and have been back into visual novels ever since. After finishing the Zero Escape series, I looked online for any other good visual novels, and the two that always pop up are Danganronpa and Steins Gate. Like I mean all the time in every goddamn discussion. While this put me onto the game, I only finished it recently. I played through all of Danganronpa first and a few other visual novels before I found Steins Gate Elite on special for the PS4, so I finally picked it up. The reason why I'm telling you this is because I was a little disappointed in this game because it had so much hype. First of all, because it was a straight visual novel with no puzzles or anything like that, I was not used to it. The second thing was because it was pretty predictable. I didn't see it all coming, to be fair, but most of it I did. It's a very basic story. The plot, though complex in ideas, is basic. Ocarina annoyed the crap out of me, and I found it hard to play the first half of the game. Daru and his perverted nature really didn't help, and Mayuri was alright. Kirisu was really the only reason why I kept going. But due to the visual novel aspect, there was a lot of information and some very long-winded scenes. True, some of them were trimmed down for the Elite version, but it's still pretty long. After the first chapter, I knew, mostly, what was going to happen. Kurisu had mentioned that she had met me, and I didn't remember meeting her, there was a mysterious object on the roof, and a few other little inconsistencies. Then Kurisu died, and the first D-mail was sent and Alpha Worldline comes into being, with Kurisu still alive, so I knew that Ocarina would have to travel from the future and meddle in her death because her being alive must cause something truly bad to happen in the future. I like how the horrible event was CERN taking over the world and using time travel to get rid of people that were getting in their way, so it was a cool idea. But the truly devastating part was Mayuri's death. And that is when the game becomes good and everybody agrees upon this point. Now, I don't deny that the very long first half of the game really does help set up these characters. It sets up the world and it sets up your stakes in it. To slowly see things become more complicated and dire until Ocarina has to undo them all is done very well. I just wish it wasn't quite so long-winded. Some scenes could have easily been trimmed down, like the time travel theories or the Ho and Kioma speeches. But man, that death, it hit me hard and I really wanted Ocarina to save the day, but I already knew the solution. Right away, he would have to let Kirisu die. And that is the main thing that annoyed me. The second half is all about Ocarina trying not to be God and undoing all that he has done. Maybe it's being an outsider, but I thought there must be another way to solve these problems. So from the in-game experiences, it seems that the attractor fields are very hard to break away from. I get that, but there has to be another way. Even with the changes to the past, it led to the same result and a major change needed to happen. Time leaping appears to do little in changing the future, whereas D-mails cause bigger changes on average, so why not try and send a D-mail? When we get to Faris and her ending, which was my second favorite and I absolutely loved, she made her father survive a plane crash with a fake ransom, so why not try sending a D-mail to before the first one with a different reason for him not to get on the plane? Boom! Father lives and the IBM still goes to the shrine for Ocarina to use. Or in Luca's ending, where we find out she accidentally smashed the IBM. Send a D-mail back to before it happened to prevent that. Boom, it doesn't get destroyed. Luca stays a girl and we get the IBM. These solutions never come up, and I fully understand why. Ocarina is distraught and wants to not play God anymore, but he is also trying with all of his being to save Mayuri, so it doesn't make sense that he wouldn't try other options. Speaking of these endings, I loved Luca's. Being the weakest character in the game, her ending was the one that truly got to me. Her going back and cosplaying in order to make Mayuri happy before her death, then taking as many pictures as she could because she knew Ocarina wouldn't know about it, it hit me. The pain, the sadness, the defeat, it's the best ending aside from the true one. Then we have Moeka's ending, and it didn't take the route I thought it would. After we heard the name FB, I knew that it was going to be Tenoji, because I thought FB stood for Father Brown. It was so close. What I found odd was Moeka is desperate for love and affection, and the other lab members give that to her. It's hard to keep straight with the world lines and everything, but she was accepted in the one that she has her ending in. I mean, come on, Mayuri was there, but that never came up, and she only cares about FB and what FB thought of her, so I get annoyed with her role in the story. Like I said in my main review, I needed a guide in order to get the true ending. I get that you're supposed to treat Kurisu in a certain way in order to get it, but it was beyond me to figure out. I would say it's odd compared to every other ending, as the other ones are all a straight choice. The true ending was really good, even though I had guessed what was going to happen. What did shock me was that Ocarina killed Kurisu, and then a nostalgia drive comes and tells him to deceive the world. I love that idea. But the mechanics of this video don't really make sense. It only works on certain world lines. How would you even set that up? It is ridiculously crazy, and I just can't understand how they would do that. I thought it was just fuzzy for the first 10 seconds and then Ocarina would start talking, but then the original Ocarina never watched past that, so we never got the message. That's not how it works. It only works on particular world lines, and it's never fully explained. The fact that he receives the video before Kurisu's death is also fairly odd. Wouldn't CERN discover this message, or because it's not in the right world line they won't be able to view it? Honestly, this is probably the weakest part of the story by the end. But a question I had was, why does Suzuha disappear right at the end? It implies that due to the world line shift she fades away, but that isn't how world lines work. She should just be gone? A theory I read is that she drops him off and then leaves in her machine, which has the same looking effect, but it's one big hole in the time travel story and most people can't explain it. But the most shocking thing in this entire game was how happy I was to see Hoenn and Kyoma come back right at the end. I was surprised because I actually missed him. I think it's because I associate that persona with happier times, and Ocarina loses it when he loses himself. I felt the whole story was satisfying and good, but not the masterpiece that most people say it is. For the sci-fi elements, I like that it was did mostly in reality, and it has a more original take on world lines. It's just the bare basic plot that surrounds it. The characters are also fairly stereotypical, but that isn't a bad thing because they all have range and they all change and grow over the course of the game. I just feel like that it was a great story, just a little bit overhyped. But guys, what did you think about Steins Gate? Did you like it? Did you hate it? Did you have the same issues I did? I just made a massive rant after I said in the original video that it was worth it, so I don't know. I still think it's a great game, just maybe not as amazing as everybody says it is. Bye!